Hello and welcome to another Nimble video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I'm going to go over some of the new UI enhancements and features that I've added to Nimble over the past 2 weeks. But before I get into that, I want to highlight a couple of articles that I found on the web. First article I found was pretty interesting from this month is why I don't use React. A blog from a developer. My takeaway from this, and which I partly agree with the developer, is the fact that using frameworks is not unique. It keeps you from being a unique developer. It's probably the reason why I created Nimble, is because I wanted to build something unique, really push my skills, my design skills, and the ability to build a solution that was different from what currently exists. At the time I started Nimble, I kind of could see the future. I knew this day would come, which brings me to an article, or somewhat older article, that I found in Forbes magazine. Had predicted the 15 predictions for the next big thing in software in 2019. This was dated October 5th of 2018. Number 5 on their list was software to build software. And that's exactly what Nimble is. It's the ability to use an interface to build software and have it be generated by code. It gives you a higher degree of accuracy. You'll be able to concentrate on features, design, and user experience more, and it's going to make your platform a lot reliable. As a software developer and architect, I've been doing this for so long. I've always seen we get to see things that the average user doesn't. So one of the biggest and probably one of the best software companies out there is Google. But what a lot of people don't know, who aren't developers, is some of the issues with their JavaScript. Just by going to Gmail and running the debug log, you see that even though the email client appears to work, I've got runtime errors running and constantly going on within their platform. This is, to me, a gripe of mine with software developers, when you make shoddy JavaScript that's constantly generating errors. In contrast, if you run a Nimble application, I aim and strive to make sure everything that I create does not generate those type of errors, or as minimal errors as possible. And that's what application generated code is all about. Hopefully corporate America will realize the amount of money they spend for teams to build React and Angular based projects, see that the accuracy is not at the same par as a product like Nimble, and Ford's predictions will come true. Let's hope. So without further ado, let's build something. Today, I'm going to highlight a previous build for OpenGL. I believe this particular build I did on a previous video on version 4 of Nimble. I'm testing all of my code that I converted for version 5 to make sure it all works. So I brought in the OpenGL component. I've taken the time to enhance many of the high charts components and make sure and verify everything, all the components were working. I think I lost a few, maybe open layers and one of the high stock charts, because they do not allow you to use them free. You have to pay for a subscription. So I lost those 2 components, but everything else appears to work. So I have a sample OpenGL component. What I'll do is I'll delete it, just so you can, I'll rebuild it and re-add it. It's just a sample rotating wood box. Of course, once it's added, we will dock all the sides so that it will resize with the dialog. And then save the component. Once we build this application, we will have a nice OpenGL using the ThreeJS library. A nice OpenGL sample created in Nimble. If I refresh the app, start it, you'll see we have a pretty nice, smooth running OpenGL application. All of the docking buttons are working as expected. And of course, if you want to make the dialog full screen, you can build a full screen OpenGL game style app for Nimble with no problem. I wanted to make sure Nimble could get out of the way, so to speak, not stay in the way of the developers. A lot of developers think that application generated code or using interfaces like this is quote unquote doing it all for you, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Nimble is only connecting libraries. Its primary goal is to make sure you connect libraries and connect source code accurately. You still have to build the game itself. You still have to understand the logic of pathfinding if that's what's required, intersections, 3D point math, understanding plane equations, yaw, pitch, and roll if you're doing a flight simulator game. All of that mathematics is still required. The platform will not solve that for you, but it will connect and build your application stable and in a reliable, repeatable way. The source code is formatted, and it is easy to read. It's very clean, very organized code. That being said, let's take a look at one of the most powerful features of Nimble, and this is the component web file. On both sides of this document is the same file. The left side, I turned on HTML highlighting so you can see the sections. On the right side, I have JavaScript highlighting so you can see the code. The idea behind this is the HTML marks off sections that Nimble interprets and uses to build your app. When you bring in any library, in this case, this is a high charts library, you can build in all the pieces that are required, and you only have to build it once. This is your target container that will go in the body of your dialog, or an HTML body. That's what it means. And then you trigger, of course, you activate the component with a piece of JavaScript for bringing in the data and actually initializing the chart. In version 5, I added the ability to also append events. And this was the ability so that the chart will resize when the dialog resizes. This is a simple code snippet that goes into the event of the dialog that it is placed and allows charts to resize as you resize the containing window. The highlighted JavaScript code is here. But clearly you can build these type of, it's an interface, this type of a mock-up interface for any JavaScript library that someone may build for free. And then once this interface is created, you can drag it in to your program or to your IDE with no problem, and you don't have to worry about connecting the app or making it respond with basic functionality. It will start off with a level of functionality and accuracy every time. Probably one of the most powerful features of Nimble. I'm so glad I included it. I'm so glad I added it in this way, because it has been the ability for me to extend the platform so easily and so quickly. I think that's all I got for you today. The Nimble solution, software that builds software. One of Forbes' 15 predictions for the next big thing in software development. Cross your fingers and hope for me. Thank you for watching.